So I wanted to know why you are so focused, so interested in architecture.
Oh, yeah. For me, actually, architecture is simply part of everyday life, and it's what we see all the time. And I think it shapes how we move, how we look, and how we experience the world. And it's, I think it's also it's both the personal experience and collective one. So, for example, I belong to the 1980s generation, 1980s generation, and when I was growing up, the big cities in China like Hangzhou, Beijing, and Shanghai went a very rapid urbanization, and that extreme pace of development became a normal thing to us. And so I'm always interested in how this new normality had an impact on my generation. So I think it's a collective experience. I want to show it in my painting. And on the other side, I was born in Shanghai and studied in Hangzhou, and I moved from Hangzhou to Beijing when I was 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt not very comfortable
With the architecture?
in the new cities, because Beijing is very different to Hangzhou or Shanghai. It's very huge, and the space and the streets is not very very easy to walk around. And so, because I am a painter, so I think my way is I started depicting, observing the architecture and the streets and around my studio and my apartment in Beijing. And I try to have some connection with the new city. I think it's my personal experience about the city landscape.
And so, what you want to show some kind of anxiety?
Sorry?
Do you want to show some anxiety? Are you anxious when you are in the city, in the new cities?
Yeah. And
What do you want to express?
I think what I want to express is what shapes my feeling. Like, you can, how can I say? I think what you get in my paintings is something very hybrid, because for example, in the earlier years of the People's Republic, because what I'm mainly interested in is the architectural forms in China from the 1980s onwards. So you can see back to the for example, in the early years of the People's Republic, there was an idea: architecture should be functional, but also need as beautiful as possible. And at the same time, these buildings were influenced by the Western architect, and as well as Japanese metabolism. Japanese metabolism is a post-war architectural movement, and they imagine the cities as organic, in vivo systems. And there are a lot of buildings in China were influenced by the Western architecture and Japanese metabolism, and also because during that specific time, specific moment of transition in China, moving out of socialist period, but also still carrying its socialist aesthetic language.
So it's a mix.
Yes, mix. Yeah. So I mentioned what you get. I hope what you get in my painting is something very hybrid. And these buildings can feel futuristic, but still belong to the past. Yeah.
Yeah,
me.
it's in between, really.
Yeah. So, I think the you can see that intention is something what I want to show.
But sometimes, don't you have the temptation of going outside the architecture to speak about another subject, for example? Another subject? One day, could you paint flower?
Yeah, I have paint flower and plants and different species in my painting. There's no paintings, my new paintings. I hope one day I can show you because actually I recently finished a large scale commission work for the Singapore Biennale, and the painting's name is some thermal landscape, and I made 2 research trips to Singapore. I visited some architecture sites and archives, and it really struck me how the city is shaped by climate and trade. Singapore, you know, and how it imagines water, how it imagines movement and exchange, and I think it fit into my work, and I particularly in the relationship between climate change and urban infrastructure. And another thing I'm interested in now is green spaces in cities.
So that's a new thing for you.
Yeah, the flower and the plants. I actually my period solo exhibition in Shanghai Westbound Museum is talking about the different plant species and animals in the public gardens, in the organic gardens, and other parks in the green spaces in Shanghai. And in that solo exhibition, I'm interested in how these plants, I think the movement of these plants across borders, and how they adapt into a new environment, and over time became the part of the local landscape, and what's the relationship and what they experienced about these plants and about these animals. Yeah.
So it's a new step in your work.
Yeah. I think I hope you can see that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.